There they go into the back. The blue light on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Mortz and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park, and Hayden King will find the winners for the weekend's racing.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen, is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen, is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more, and the West Australian champion has done it again.
Hello and welcome to Talking Trots for yet another week. Really good program of racing upcoming tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. Looking forward to that. Some racing over the weekend as well. We'll have a look at the country later on. Bomber's going to provide his tips. And once again this week, I'm joined by Glen Moore. How are you, Glen?
G'day, Hayden. How are you? And good evening to all the listeners. Big night coming up, Gloucester Park tomorrow night. Knights of Thunder, West Australian Knights of Thunder final. The heats were very exciting, weren't they? And some really fast times. Clearly horses had to run the time to get in, and it made it for very interesting tactical races on the night. And we've got a pretty solid field racing for $50,000 on Friday night.
Indeed, and those races were certainly made so in terms of the spectacle by a couple of horses electing to hold the front, and there was pressure in the race. And
or hold the breeze as well, which is, it's over 1,700 is not a surprising decision to want to hold the breeze over 1,700. And for Chris Lewis, it worked out very well.
Indeed. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first, we're going to get to our guest for tonight, and that is Jocelyn Young. And a mare she's got ticking over really well at the moment is Max Legacy, who was able to salute on Tuesday.
The trend, Make Your Mark held up. Lil Delight around the turn, though. Max Legacy on the outside of Goddess of Reason. And then came Ponzi Beach, but it's Max Legacy doing it well with 100 to go. Max Legacy shoots to the front from Goddess of Reason. Ponzi Beach on the outside. Max Legacy in front of Ponzi Beach and Goddess of Reason. And Max Legacy has done enough to score by 2 metres. Second, Ponzi Beach. Third, Max Legacy. And
yes, Max Legacy back in the winners list after some strong form prior to that. And trainer-driver Jocelyn Young joins us. Hey, Jocelyn.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jocelyn. Thanks for coming on again. You're becoming a semi-regular.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. Friday night, you've got a few nice drives and stable runners. And race one, you've got the very informed Cut and Run and the very informed Rock and Roll Elliott going around in race one. How are you assessing that one Friday night?
Well, last week we drew 10 and 11. This week, 1 and 2. So I'd imagine Cut and Run's fast enough to hold up. I think that Rock and Roll Elliott would just elect to jump on the back.
Yep.
And that's how I would assess it. And yeah, they're both racing really well. And I would think that they should be finishing 1-2, barring bad luck, or Elliott not getting a run.
Yep. It's very interesting from that viewpoint, isn't it? They've probably got Medieval Man outside the leader. It's the most logical thing to happen. Lady Prima Donna, not quite sure whether they'll want to be in the breeze. I just thought Medieval Man, that's at spot usually. So I guess that's the only little issue for Rock and Roll Elliott, just getting that clear air late. But both horses are going really well, aren't they? Rock and Roll Elliott, some of his runs, even the fifth was an excellent run when he came off the track, 154, show ponies race. Nothing wrong with that run. And again, very good last week. Cut and Run looks like I think you thought you won last week, didn't you? It got very close on the line.
Yeah, it was very close.
Did you ask to look at the developed print?
No, I didn't. I just
didn't worry.
Their word for it.
Yep.
And then we got one this week, so I guess we've got our chance again. And yeah, Rock and Roll Elliott, he's been racing well, but he is way down in grade. But yeah, he's probably not had a lot of luck having to go wide his last two in quick time, as you said. And he's probably sprinted sort of really well the first 400, then his last 400 he probably starts to peak a little bit, but he has been doing more work than we would have liked. So I think if he can get a more economical trip, say if he was 3 back the pegs last week, he probably would have got the right run and maybe run us down.
Yeah, exactly.
Sprinted, but we elected to have one on the pegs and one off the pegs.
Yep. If there was pressure from Medieval Man and Rock and Roll Ellie got off the fence turning for home, you'd be a little bit concerned he might grab you, I suppose.
Well, I mean, if he happened to win, I'm not going to be upset.
No, that's right.
But, yeah, I think the way that he has actually been sprinting is probably proving that he isn't just tough. He does have a good turn of foot as well. So it will be nice to see him tucked away and running on.
The Watchmaker's been a special horse for you. He's been with you since the beginning, but, gee, it looks very tough tomorrow night.
Yeah, it does. I really, really want to win a Metro race with him. From the time that he was born and I bucket rode him, I just, sort of dreamed of winning a Metro race with him. So here we are, 10 years later, full time.
You'd be dreaming of leading one night with him, I know that. But if he leads, he's very, very hard to run down, but he just lacks that touch of gate speed, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's funny. He doesn't really like being hit, so I think that he would have the gate speed, but because he hates being hit,
right, okay. Yep.
Can't really
push.
Yeah, I can't really ask him because he'll put in a bit of a hop and a skip, so it's sort of better to just be safe. But a couple of starts back when Maddie was driving him.
Yeah, when he drew 6 that night.
Yeah, and he began so well, and I thought if he could do that, if he could have done that last Friday, I thought that he would go really close. But he hopped and skipped and ended up back in the field, and that was it. But I have been a lot. Well, his last two. Well, definitely his first up run I was really happy with, and then last week, it was sort of all over once Middle Page.
Yes, of course it was. Yep.
But yeah, he is the horse that I've always obviously loved him and had a soft spot for him. But I do think that he has got enough ability. It's going back a long way, but he did sit 3 deep the entire trip, beating Sangreal like a few years back. So there's been glimpses of hope there, and I'm holding on to it.
What about standing starts? I just can't recall just off the top of my head, but is that another option maybe to be able to work to the lead in a race off the front line? Is that something you'd be confident doing, or it doesn't jump away? I can't remember top of my head.
Yeah, well, he's not qualified from the stand, and he probably would pace away, but he'd probably get scared of the tape or something. He's a bit of a pansy.
Okay.
So, yeah, I haven't never tried that, but he is also a level 10, so I doubt he'd even get off the front.
Yeah, right, okay.
Somehow he'd achieve to get to a level 10.
Yeah, and
right.
if you went in those conditioned races, you come up against the free-for-allers anyway. So
level 10, 11 front may not help you against those good horses.
Yep.
Another big man, a horse that's knocking on the door, but it still looks a little tricky for you from barrier 4, even though you've got gate speed there. The Kraken's coming out fairly only and probably lost a touch of gate speed, might be a little vulnerable, and Joey James has had gate speed in the past, but it's most likely to drop in on the Kraken's back.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. Obviously, the pace out wise, Regal, Chevelle and Goodfellas will be going forward, but just the initial burst out of the gate, what was your assessment of Joey James and the Kraken early?
Yeah, well, they've both got reasonable speed, but like you said, whether they want to get in a bit of a war with Joey James, I don't know whether it would get across the Kraken. I think it's probably got enough speed to hold its own from there.
Yeah, right alongside it was my issue there.
Yeah.
Hayden, you thought they might have a crack?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought right alongside it with no back line, they might just take the option that if Mitch can hold up. Do you think your chance of getting them at the start, if you were aggressive?
Don't like it, no.
No. Be a risky sort of move, perhaps, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that he'd be quick enough to get across them.
No, and the pressure's going to come anyway. Goodfellas, Regal's got gate speed, so we'll probably have that attempt. And Goodfellas, clearly the best horse in the race. So the running on late tactic might be your best option, I assume?
Yeah, I think he's probably been going better with the sit. Well, I mean, he hasn't really led that much here either, but with the sit, he seems to be a bit more genuine. He's been travelling really well on the helmet, and then they've just been, like last start, they run home in 27.5, and he got beat just by really nice horses. So,
Yep.
But yeah, this does seem a lot more of an even field, barring Goodfellas, who stands out. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a place, but we can't see him winning.
Is he the same horse on the rail as he is one out? Like if he's one out, one back, is he a type of horse that would sprint from that position, or you prefer the rail with another big man?
Yeah, he'd probably prefer the rail because he doesn't really get around a smaller track all that flash. He's been better, but yeah, he's not the sort that you're thinking, I'm going to sit up and just out sprint him.
You could make a case that Steno's close to the best mare in the state. There's probably Wonderful Fly. Clearly, people would probably have her on top with that, but Steno certainly puts her hand up to give her that recognition on ability and performance for sure. She hasn't had a run since the 22nd of December. Is that an issue for tomorrow night?
No, she just had like a very small freshen up. She had about 5 days off, so she hasn't really missed much at all. I missed the Free for All Mares race that was programmed for a fortnight ago, so that's why she wasn't in that.
Ah, right, okay, yep.
She just I totally missed it, so didn't really prepare her for that. But yeah, she seems pretty forward, and whatever she does tomorrow, she'll improve on because she seems to take a couple of runs to hit her top. But yeah, her work's been super, and expect her to go accordingly. Yep,
the 4-year-old mare, Sweet Lou, that's a big rap, isn't it? In terms of a long-term fit, she's still very young and a lot. Well, she's a 5-year-old now. I guess she would have turned 5, but a 4-year-old when she won the Christmas Bells. So she's got a huge future on and off the track in front of her.
Yeah, definitely. And she's obviously from a brilliant family. We're very lucky to have her in the stable, and it's been nice to get her back to her top. She's quite enjoyable to drive. She's got like an amazing turn of foot when you ask her to go, especially off the gate. It's actually quite thrilling.
Yeah, it would be. And that night she crossed at the start, was it Armour X Factor? I'm trying to think now. Armour X Factor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She crossed Armour X Factor, drawn one like a gazelle, and then looked to be pulling a bit and running, but still reeled off that 28.7, 26.7 without any effort whatsoever. Incredible performance that night.
She definitely, probably when she went up to Queensland as a 3-year-old, she probably cost herself the 2 Oaks up there as she dropped 26s down the back. A little tired on the run home, which was a little bit of a concern. She likes when sort of she gets to the bell or heading to the back, wherever it might be, she starts to really get going. But around Gloucester Park, it probably doesn't matter as much because
I agree.
Can't catch you as easy. Don't have the long straight.
Do you think you've got the pace to get across those tomorrow night?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think it's sort of, if we go back, then you probably hand it to one of the others. So I think that you've got to have a look.
She is blistering out, that's for sure.
On Monday, Jocelyn, you've got a few drives down there at Pinjarra as well. 4 Mel in the first race for your dad. What do you make of this filly by Fly Like an Eagle?
She's a tiny little thing, but she does seem to have her fair share of ability. I think she'll be one that just gets better and better. She's just got really good manners, good attitude, and she's just like a little professional racehorse. So I do think she'll just keep on improving. But there is a couple of nice types in that race that have trialled up well. So, yeah, interesting little test. But I think she's just there really to get another race under her belt before the sales race is coming up.
Do you have any idea what the name means?
I think it's like Girl Eagle or something.
Yeah, okay.
Like a female eagle.
Ah, right, there you go.
She is well related. She's the half to Magnificent. So hopefully she can be half as good as him. Later on in the program, Rock Rosie Rock, who was able to win last time out at Bunbury, went back to trials after that. What do you make of this race?
Yeah, I just put her in there. She is a bit out of her grade, but I knew that she could draw okay. Ideally, we want to race 3-year-olds, but the 3-year-olds had quite a few of Bondies, and I didn't really want to tackle them. And they were all boys as well. So I elected to go in the mares race. She's drawn well, and it's a lot weaker than it was last week. And she trialled up reasonable yesterday. So I do expect that she'll run a reasonable race from there. I just trialled her yesterday to get the ODM off and just to give her a little bit of a run because she was a little bit unders going into that win at Bunbury. So, yeah, she shouldn't be too far off hitting peak fitness now.
Very good. And I guess looking at that race, Bramonti Steps, drawn out wide, Precocious Lady, there's a couple of nice ones in there. Elder Allure went pretty good too. There's no walk in the park. Hunt, yeah, it's a good field, isn't it? Hunt the Magic, etc. All going pretty well there.
Just compared to the race last week, I think they went 56.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, and there was a couple of Bondies, and it was, I just thought it didn't look as strong. I mean, she probably won't be winning, but I think from that draw, she should be pretty competitive in there.
I was surprised to note you've actually only driven Jill Mack once, and you come up with the reins behind her in race number 7. She's always an honest, standing start horse. Do look a couple of nice types in the race, though.
Yeah, she is very honest. But yeah, she's only third up from a spell, and she's been racing around Bustleton. So yeah, it's probably a bit of a jump in grade. But yeah, she normally runs an honest race.
I've looked it up as well. Jocelyn is a veritable font of knowledge. The formal is a female hawk or eagle.
There you go. Spot on.
Nothing gets past you, Jossie.
Not a West Coast eagle. They're not going so good. The West Coast a bit better than the West Coast boys, being a supporter.
All right. Hopefully we've got a winner or two among those on Friday and Monday, and I'll catch up with you at the track tomorrow night, Jocelyn.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
No worries. That's Jocelyn Young joining us on Talking Trots for another week, Glen. Obviously, the exciting element tomorrow night will be the drive behind Steno, as she alluded to. It's always that burst of speed that gets her and the punters exhilarated, and we can see that later on tomorrow night.
It's interesting too. She made the point that the horse, she is forward. There's no alarm bells there about the break from racing, so there's a certain amount of confidence in that. And mind you, it's a pretty slick field. If it doesn't lead, we all know that there's going to be issues then, but she seems confident enough there to suggest that it's going to go pretty good.
Yeah, well, I doubt there's any mare that gets out of the mobile faster than her in WA.
No, and Rock and Roll Sass has been leading, and they've tested that a couple of times now, so you'd imagine they'd be delighted to sit. Might have times not that quick. Nullarbor Navajo led last week in it when it definitely had, was going to lead. There was no doubt on paper it would lead. And Three Rumours is the only issue drawn alongside it, but it's not really a flying machine, but it is drawn right alongside it. But the way we've seen Steno handle some pretty quick horses, it's unlikely to see it not leading, put it that way. It's very likely to see it leading.
Built for comfort, made for work, Steel Blue boots. Get into your local Steel Blue stockist if you require a pair of footwear. We're going to go to a break now. Trotter sprint last week, Glen, taken out by Almastoso. That first 50 metres really set up victory there.
Yeah, look, it all changed very quickly, and it never looked like getting beaten either. In terms of the favourite drawn one, it was a query, wasn't it? And didn't get it right, and all of a sudden Chris Lewis straight to the lead and won with a leg in the air.
No, Tricky Rick, the potential danger in the run, and he didn't quite let down Rick.
I think it looked like, the trial was excellent. It looked like in running you'd think he was a danger, but he was off the bit, probably 600 out, 400 niggle there, and just probably the first up running a bit over that trip. Just got him off the bit. He was hunted up to get that spot early too, from the back line, which takes a bit out of him. So he went around like a horse that probably needed that run. It's creditable, but he never had that finishing sprint that you would have expected in the run.
Group 3 victory for Barry Howlett and Chris Lewis last week in the Trotters sprint.
Out wider is Tricky Rick, and offload deeper on the track by Love of Flair, but it's still Armistocio in the straight. Gets away again by 3 or 4 metres to Eva's Image, then Tricky Rick, but Armistocio is in front of Eva's Image. Tricky Rick, Sky Eagle and Love of Flair, and Armistocio does it all the way and wins well by 3 metres to Eva's Image. A big run. Third home, 4.5 metres away. Tricky Rick, similar margin away.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
To the bend they run, and the leader is Rumour Has It, going quite strongly from Soho Dow Jones. Al Capone's out wider with Tiger Royal in the straight. They run though. Rumour Has It from Soho Dow Jones. Good battle for third. Rumour Has It's in front of Soho Dow Jones. Tiger Royal, Al Capone, and Rumour Has It just clinging on and one from Soho Dow Jones. Third Tiger Royal, fourth flashing up.
Toughness, temerity. Had it in spades, Rumour Has It.
Wasn't it a run? Huge run.
Ginormous to breeze outside a hot speed, repel mid-race pressure, and still had the audacity to keep it going, put a margin on them, and just had enough gas in the tank to hold on.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I mean, Chris Lewis didn't want to give the breeze advantage. If it's an advantage to Junior, and Junior wanted to get there and was hoping probably Stanford would capitulate and hand over, but none of that turned out well, but that was a race and a half to watch.
I thought she might be able to breeze and win, but by the 400 I was more hoping than holding any confidence because she'd done so much work, but still she was equal to the challenge, and she comes into tomorrow night's final as one of the chief hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I was on her as well. I was a bit concerned in the run, that's for sure. And then just down the back when Lewis flicked her up and she crossed the leader quite easily. So Dow Jones at that point was on her back but wasn't coming at her quick enough for me to get really worried. And up the straight, it always looked as if she'd hold on.
Tenacious indeed. Bomber's back. How are you, Bomber?
Very well, thanks, Hayden. Yourself?
Not too bad. And, gee, you've made it back unscathed from Melbourne.
Yeah, back in one piece, and a couple of winners last week to help pay the trip, which was good. So hopefully back it up again tomorrow night.
Yes, Bomber, you had a really good night last week, which was great for the punters, and we've got a terrific even program tomorrow night, featuring obviously a very, very good Knights of Thunder final. Intriguing race in terms of there are some real quality horses there. Did you see Shell Patch holding up, or has you got a concern there?
Yeah, definite concern. We haven't really seen him pushed off the gate, I guess, but he'd have to be a question mark for sure.
And the one that would most likely in that scenario to get him, I guess, is Rumour Has It on the angle of gate speed. If that happened, Chris Lewis is probably going to test it because clearly it's a query, and then we know Joys of Lincoln attempted the big move last week. Nothing worked out right, but didn't it go enormous, Joys of Lincoln?
Incredible run. That it had to be seen to be believed, really, to finish as close as he did. I probably won't have a bet in the race tomorrow night, but I'm really intrigued to see how he goes second up off the back of that run.
100%.
We're going to be betting in race number 1, though, and that gets underway at 5:47 tomorrow night. Number 1, Cut and Run, and 2, Rock and Roll Elliot, both for Jocelyn Young, who we just spoke to. Number 3, Disco Under Fire is scratched. He was found to be lame in the off-hind from his Tuesday defeat at short odds. Medieval Man won that race. He's in 4. Frankie J. Holden 5. Lady Prima Donna in 6. 7 Our Star Watch. 8 Richie Reactor. And 9 Tubbs Farquhar. What do you like in the first, Bomber?
Very keen Rock and Roll Elliott here. I think he's the one. I'd be very surprised if they didn't elect to take a sit with the pole marker and stablemate in Cut and Run, which should almost certainly ensure a 1-2 finish for them. But I think Rock and Roll Elliott has the ability to sit outside the other horse, even if they do decide to hold up. And if it comes to that, I'm confident enough he can still hold. He can still win. He looks to hold the outside brigade. He did hold from 1. Holding the very fast Regal Cheval from the front straight last time he led, and he bowled in on that occasion, running 56.7 his last half, and I think he's the best horse in the race. I think he was too good.
Bomber, we spoke to Jocelyn Young a minute ago, and interestingly enough, we naturally asked her the question about tactics here, and she alluded to she wants to lead with a 1 and was happy to drop in with Rock and Roll Elliott. She also added, so I mean, we need to tell you that because you're working on the... She also said that she wouldn't be surprised if Rock and Roll Elliott was able to beat Cut and Run, but clearly in that scenario needs to get that clear run, Bomber. In running, you would think Medieval Man would be the likely breeze horse in that scenario. And therefore, Rock and Roll Elliott's probably got to be driven for a touch of luck to get out. She did say if it gets out, it can beat me, and she wouldn't be upset by it. Obviously, wants to win with a 1, but just to tell you from the viewpoint of the analysis and what you were saying is a reasonable assumption, she indicated probably lead with a 1 and sit with a 2.
Yeah, well, it certainly turns my map upside down, Glen, for sure. And yeah, like I said, I would have thought, in that scenario, no doubt they'll drop Rock and Roll Elliott in behind, which sort of which makes things much more difficult. I would say Medieval Man, he'll go up and apply a bit of pressure to the leader at some point. So if Rock and Roll Elliott can work his way into the clear, then I agree. I think he'll still beat the 1 horse. I think he's a better horse, but it'll probably ensure that the staking is challenged there, that's for sure.
Yeah, you might get a better price though, Bomber. Based on that information, it's probably going to get out to a more reasonable price as well. So that's another thing in your favour there.
So what do we do now, Bomber?
I think we stick with the bet because I do think he's the best horse, and I think he'll still win. And as Glenn just alluded to, we'll probably get a better price, so we can cut our stake. So we'll just make him a 2-unit bet rather than the 3-unit he was going to be.
Or we can just go for the jugular and put the 3-unit on and hope for the best.
Yeah. So it is race 1. We've got plenty of time to get.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you go in with a plan and you get it right, but the method's wrong, it still pays the same.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That's all that matters. Race number 3 is our second event to look at, the Countryman Pace, 17:30, 6:48. Number 1, the Kraken, who was bold last week, plugging on from the breeze. 2, Joey James right next door. 3, Baltic Ace. He doesn't have that much gate speed. 4, Another Big Man does. So does 5, Regal Cheval. 6, Peradua Ad Astra. 7, Goodfellas. He's the clear standout for class in this race. 8, American Bullet. And 9, The Dark Knight. Who wins this, Bomber?
Yeah, as you touched on, Goodfellas, a massive class dropper here. And despite a couple of gutbusters recently in much better grade, I thought he was just graded too well here. He's ran 153, or the leaders and winners have ran 153 in those last couple of races where he's been posted in the breeze and doing all the work. And I'm not sure what they'll do off the gate here. I think they've got options. They could roll forward and look to follow Regal Cheval across or just slot across into the running line. But regardless, I think he'll just be too good. He looks a class above him, this bloke. Yeah,
my gut feeling is they'll just go forward. Regal Cheval, not really a breeze horse, is it? But it would be probably happy to take the 1-1. There is a possibility it might work its way to the front of here, Goodfellas as well, of course, with the class of it. Like, what have you got in front? Kraken, Joey James, maybe? I don't know what happens.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like, I thought Regal Cheval might be able to zap those two. Like, the Kraken, he begins well, but he can't really muster through after that. If he held up, I think he'd give him a real sight in front, but I don't think he can quite hold a couple of fast beginners here. So
yeah, Regal Cheval gets there to the front. Then Junior's probably got to assess whether he does hand over, I guess. But
if Goodfellas came up, I reckon he'd hand.
Well, I would if I was him. But I think it'll beat it from the breeze anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Santorini beat it from the breeze the other day.
Yeah, over the shorter trip as well.
Shorter trip. Yep.
Yeah. No, I think his class will tell you, good fellas.
Yep, confidence level very high here, I can tell.
Yeah, very high. He's a 3-unit bet. I can't see how they beat him. He just looks too good. Those last couple of runs have been exceptional despite being beaten a fair way in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Loans 1, 2, 3, 1-800 100 100. The number you need to dial if you are in a bit of trouble. Hopefully we're not, though. Sounds like we're confident in race number 3. Go to a break now. As we do, let's go back to last week. And it was another event, Glen, that turned out to be a little bit of a staying test, even though it was over the 17:30, the second heat of the Knights of Thunder, taken out by Shell Patch. Yeah, big run, wasn't it? Plenty of pressure in running. And the punters were lamenting that backed it first up in the stand. It really turned up, obviously needed the run. It just came forward very, very quickly and went sensational. Another race where the leader folded up and Goodfellas was able to burst to the front, but he couldn't replicate Rumour Has It. If you actually look at the times, I know it's a little bit of a different breakup, but if Rumour Has It had been in that second heat, you can make a case for her still winning. So she's clearly at the peak of her powers at the moment, and Goodfellas maybe not quite 100%, but not that far off. No, it's had the interrupted preparation, Goodfellas. I know they've got a big opinion of it, and rightly so, but it has that interrupted preparation. So I would say the best is ahead of Goodfellas. Let's go back last week. Here's Shell Patch, and he's come up the favourite courtesy of the good draw this week.
All is well, found the front on the turn. Out wide is Shell Patch, battling on the inside, Goodfellas, Celestio Matugo, and then Acuto in the straight, though. All is well in front. Shell Patch is coming on the outside, Celestio Matugo as well, but it's all is well in front. Shell Patch driving, all is well with Shell Patch going up on the outside, and Shell Patch comes home to win from All Is Well, and Celestio Matugo and States of Heaven followed by...
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Ideal Agent looking at big danger though, and then Classic Choice to the outside. Talks Up a Storm trying to respond. Ideal Agent the outside cutting it down. Talks Up a Storm in front. Ideal Agent really knuckling down. Classy Horse takes the lead, draws clear, and Roberts sends it home. Ideal Agent by 2 metres. Talks Up a Storm 4.5 metres away. Classic Choice.
Yeah, just too good. He didn't look quite there in terms of fitness, but he just had that class on them, Glen, and too good. Ideal Agent. And how well did he travel in running? So good. Yeah, he looked apart, didn't he? He looks a real class horse, and there was a question mark maybe just on his first up fitness, but after the trial, they had that 3 weeks, and Denny alluded to it in the parade ring, that they put a fair bit of work into the horse after the trial. She still thought it was, would need the run, but sounded pretty confident it'd go very good, and it certainly did. Yeah, I actually changed my tip after listening to her. I just thought she was sounding pretty, well, not downcast, but negative in terms of her tactics. So I just thought Talks Up a Storm might get away with it. Yeah, well, she indicated she wasn't going to attack it, didn't she? Yeah. So, but just the class told at the finish, Kyle tried to get away from her down the back with Talks Up a Storm. And at the end of the day, it played into her hands because Talks Up a Storm came back to Denny, and she just outstayed him up the straight. Just a class horse. And one to look forward to in the coming months. Race number 4 is the streamer.com.au pace, 17:30, 7:16. Ruben's Plight comes up with gate number 1. Hall Junior hops on. 2 Maclani, who's hit peak form. He's in 2. 3 I'm a 5-star General. 4 at a Spoiled Major. 5 Diorce. 6 I Feel Sickdale. 7 Illawong Mustang. And 8 October Rain is out of the draw at the top of the track. Who do you like here, Bomber?
Yeah, with the pole marker here in Ruben's Plight, he's another class dropper and gets his first opportunity to lead since coming west, and I think he'll just roll too quickly for him in front. He had 3 starts back. He chased home Laverageau and ran 55 for his last half, and then Minstrel after that, and he had no luck in the mile heat last week, and he should have finished much closer than he did. But I thought Maclani may have a little look off the arm, but I'd expect him to hold up and should be pretty well smooth sailing from there. I think he's had a few issues since coming over, and I think they'll be rewarded for their patience here. I expect him to lead and win. Yeah, last week, 5 wide down the back when that sprint was on didn't help late, did it? It loomed up sort of wide on the track, very quick sectional, and then probably didn't finish off that well late in the last 50 to 100, but
was all over by then. I don't think they were worried too much. They couldn't get into it, and given the situation there down the back, very difficult to make ground. It still went pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, if he managed to get those sort of runs through the middle, he finishes a lot closer.
Yeah,
I thought,
for sure.
Probably looked after him late once it was evident that he wasn't going to be able to get into the race. So, yeah, wasn't too fussed about that.
No, not at all.
He'll be real short, won't he?
Yeah, I would think he'll be short tomorrow. This is a perfect race for him, but it'll add to the percentages in the all-ups, I think, Ruben's Plight. What price did you think he'd be, Bomber?
Oh, I thought it was probably $1.60.
Yeah, around that, I thought. $1.50.
I thought less.
Well, it could be, but...
Hopefully you're right.
Yeah.
I'll be snaffling that.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be a pretty luxurious price, but you never know what price they'll put it up. We'd love to have early markets so we could actually analyse all that. But I can tell you one thing, it won't be the $3 that's on the harness racing side.
No, it certainly won't be that.
But yeah, $1.50 would be good around that mark, but it might be a touch shorter.
Yeah.
Junior on from one, it's always a recipe to maybe be $1.30, but you never know. But for the multiples, it looks a winner, doesn't it? You could add it in with a couple of the other favourites.
Hey, since we downgraded our units on Rock and Roll Elliott, can we upgrade here?
Make it a 5.
Yeah, put a couple on for me.
Yeah, make it a 5.
Why not?
Right, that's race number 4, going in with some confidence into Ruben's Plight. Race number 8 is the last event we're going to look at. We do have a market for this, the 7+ pace, 21.30 at 9.20. Number 1, Rock and Roll Sass, 19. 2, Might Have Time, 7.50. 3, Nullarbor Navajo, $5. 4, 3 Rumours. That was a bit weird. 4, 3 Rumours at $2.70. 5, Steno, $2.10. And 6, Beyond the Sea, $12. What's happening here, Bomber?
Yeah, I thought Steno could blaze them off the arm, and if she leads, I think she just wins. She's crossed much quicker beginners than what she meets here, and I'll be pretty surprised if she can't get across. And she's 5 from 5 in the West when leading, and they've all been very comfortable once she gets there. And I'm very, very bullish that if she does lead, they won't beat her. We'll know within 50 metres or 100 what our fate will be. But obviously, if she can't cross, and 3 Rumours could keep her legs underneath, we're in trouble. But I think she's just too quick on that first 100 to 150 metres.
Yeah, Jocelyn shares your confidence here, and she's not worried about the break in racing. She said the mare is right up to the mark.
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
Yep.
You guys, how do you guys feel?
I think it'll lead. 3 Rumours right alongside it. Maybe a little issue because we've found that in the past sometimes. But this horse has got serious acceleration. After that first spurt, that second spurt is so quick.
Yeah.
I don't think they can go with it. So confidence level from you very high?
Absolutely. Another 3-unit bet. I really like the look of this field. When it came out, I thought we'd probably get a better price than we should, given where she's drawn, and looks to be the case, I think.
What about you, Hayden? Confident crosses?
Don't know.
Don't know? You're not entering into that one?
No.
So you've got a little doubt there because it's drawn alongside 3 Rumours.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always... It can be an issue, but anyway, we'll find out, obviously.
I don't think 3 Rumours is that quick off the arm. Like I agree, drawn next door is an issue, but she doesn't really... She can't ping as like Steno can, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
No back line. He'll be throwing everything at it to get that start right, though.
Yep.
He'll be staying up the track too. He won't be letting her get down. So
it'll be interesting. We know where you're coming from, but you're making us a bit nervous now, Hayden. Thanks for that.
That's what I'm here for.
How many units you want? Are you ignoring the warning, or you're going with your confidence?
No, I'm sticking with that. I'm going. That's a 3-unit bet. I'm really confident she'll cross.
Yep.
No multi?
I don't think so. I think if we just play around those last 3 and double a couple of those up, I'm pretty confident they'll all win. I was really confident the 4 of them would win, but I'm obviously a little bit concerned with that map on Rock and Roll Elliott now, but it could end up being a blessing in disguise, hopefully.
Bomber, just before you go, just your opinion, if you don't mind, on Our Shelley Beach, So Santorini and Hotly Pursued early. How did you read the early part of that one?
Yeah, I thought so Santorini would lead. Hotly Pursued, I mean, our Shepley Beach can begin as well. I don't think it begins as well from one as he probably does a little bit wider, but and I don't think he'd want to hold up in this field either. That's just my gut feel. I think if he held up, he'll finish a lot further back than he does if he takes a sit. But yeah, my gut feeling is that Soho Santorini will hold up, but I won't be getting involved.
No, okay. And Kim Prentice was on the radio, and Mitch Miller and the press has been saying they're going to drive this with a lot of confidence. So Santorini and aggression to hold the breeze if that comes down to that. But they'll be pressing on early with some intention to get to the lead, put it that way, and a very minimum. Happy to be in the breeze if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, that's the way I sort of read it. I do like Hotley Pursuit as a horse, but it's pretty tricky for me there, I think.
Going to have to rely on heat from 1 or 2, drop in, and then Hotley Pursuit obviously comes into it then if there's a bit of a war early. But if Santorini got a quick lead, well, you'd imagine.
You'd think the 3 and the 4 would probably both go peg hunting, so he might be able to slot across pretty easily.
Yeah, that's right. Good race, that one. Thanks for that. I was thinking the same way. Maybe the 2 can get the lead there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
One for the interviews in the parade ring.
That's it.
I'll be out there asking the hard questions.
That's good. You're in the parade ring tomorrow night.
Yep.
So, we'll get all that information, which lately, Bomber, you've been tuned into a fair bit of it, I know, and there's been some vital information coming out of the parade ring interviews.
It's absolutely critical. Yeah, it's a must listen if you're having a bet, and like races like race 1 and race 2 tomorrow night, and even race 3, they can be the make or break.
Absolutely, it can. Hope your form stays as good as it was last week. You're on fire, so it's looking promising tomorrow night from what you've told us. So
yeah, we're going in confident enough, so hope it comes together. It's a funny game. It can be a bit of a leveler, as we know. But
Hayden's tried to slow us down. That's the only issue. It's put the slow on us. Worries a bit.
One of us will be right.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, Bomber. Good luck.
Cheers, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Bomber.
That's Bomber Hill. Hopefully some winners there tomorrow night at headquarters. Got to go to a break in just a moment. Bayswater Mazda, Corner Road, Guildford and Garrett Road. Get up there for all your automobile requirements. Horse in form here, Glen, is Show Pony. He's really hit his straps since arriving in the care of David Young, and he churns out win after win. Looks a bit harder tomorrow night, though.
Does look harder, but this is a horse that just keeps raising the bar, doesn't it? So it wouldn't shock me.
The biggest thing with him is his gate speed has notably improved in recent weeks.
Yeah, last week wasn't that nice and easy. We were confident, the panel, everybody confident it would win. But I was thinking I was happy for it to breeze and win. But when it got the front...
just curtains.
Curtains, absolutely.
Let's go back to that race. Show Pony. Scoring for David Young, Kyle Symington.
Boy, Per Adua at Astra. A Illawong Mustang got up on the inside of Navy Street and Flying Rumour, but he goes for Show Pony, and that 28.3 is clear from BJ's Boy. Illawong Mustang and Per Adua at Astra is running home gamely, but Show Pony's going to walk in and wins by 7 metres. Second home was Illawong Mustang from Per Adua at Astra, BJ's Boy.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
Clear holding El Daytona and also Far Rock, Far Roll. Then watching our coin, followed by Rascal without the tar, but doing it well. Thompson Bay over El Daytona, battling on well. Far Rock, Far Roll gets through into 3rd place, but Thompson Bay in front of El Daytona near the line, and Thompson Bay has won from El Daytona, and 3rd in Far Rock, Far Roll. Then
Thompson Bay, well, he was helped by the fact that Mr. Fantastic galloped early, but he was able to then control the race from the front and dominated it, really. Never really going to lose, Glenn.
No, not at all. Once that Mr. Fantastic blew it at the start, the pressure went out of it. And the tip was Mr. Fantastic was all revved up, even as preliminary, and it was going to provide a problem for the one horse, Thompson Bay, out of the gate. Win, lose or draw, there was going to be a fair bit of pressure because Mr. Fantastic, I don't think they could even hold it. It was bolting, And even if it went for the lead and didn't get it, it would have maybe brought others into the race.
Yeah, well, after it galloped, it actually tore around the track on a few more laps.
Yeah.
Like it was just completely uncontrollable.
Yeah, and out of the gate, if it would have been right on top of the one horse, and it would have been an issue, I think.
We've got some country racing coming up this weekend. We've got Albany tomorrow night, Northam on Saturday night, then back to Pinjarra Gloucester Park on Monday, Tuesday. What do you like at Albany?
Yeah, I've had a quick look at Albany. I like Bizarre Package. A big run last week, did a lot of work.
All that work, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it may, our Eagle Bay, the logic is with the sprint lane, I thought would sit on it. But even if it breezed here, Quintessence is obviously the danger, but it's drawn inside back line by an Eagle Bay, our Eagle Bay. But I thought whatever happened, Bizarre Package would be very hard to beat here, Hayden.
Yeah, and I was checking the times on those races last week, and it was only 0.9, I think, outside the track record, that race.
Went big.
Yeah, so really good performance there by Bizarre Package. And a horse that grows a leg out in front as well is a Metro winner when leading on multiple occasions. So really respect to
it. Won at a bit of value one night, and we were on it one night when it pinged to the front at a big price, and that stays in your memory bank. It lost a little touch of form, but now it's had a couple of runs. It went big the other night, and Princess Katie went terrific as well, because it was Aldo Cortopassi made sure he tried to find a chink in her armour, but it went big regardless. Bizarre Package, I thought it would win. The other couple of logical ones just got a bit of work to do on the program, but race 4 and 5 Chillin will be short, should win again, and 6-6 Ideal Tomato, whatever you want to call it, that should be winning as well, but they'll both be short.
Yeah.
I was pretty keen on the Northern program. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I found a few I wanted to back at Northern. I'm not sure what you like, but race 2, Quattros looks the obvious there. Bound to the front, in really good form, ready to win. Always hard to beat around the lead at Northern.
Yeah, I was very keen on Quattros Saturday night as well.
Race 3, I thought Chasing Hill might be able to overcome that back row draw, particularly with those off the front. Slammer Alabama's a noted leader, and Charco Eagles outside it, so there could be a bit going on. And Chasing Hill, he's dropping out of an Albany Cup, so pretty good form line there.
I agree with you again. I'm very keen Chasing Hill. Charco Eagle, as you said, in Slammer Alabama, there could be a bit of pace on there early. Chasing Cooper, but Chasing Hill can join in from the bell or whenever it likes there, and I think it'll just outstay them there.
I know he's been driven forward in all his starts for Michael Young, but I think he'll chase fine as well.
Yeah, I think he will. And if I think they will go hard out of the gate here to get their positions, and because horses will be, Vance will want to get the lead if he can. Ryan Warwick may sit on it. Chasing Curb's horse that they go forward with it would like to lead. So there's a little bit on, but this can pop to the breeze, and I think it'll outstay them anyway. Pretty confident. Race before that, where were we there? That was race 3, wasn't it? Race 4, I liked Galaxy Warrior here, the 2. Franco Mecca's the...
Yeah, well, Shannon's given you the push.
Yes, he has.
On Galaxy Warrior.
I think it's got the gate speed to hold Franco Mecca, and that's what I'm banking on, and I thought it'd be very hard to beat here. Galaxy Warrior, race 4, number 2.
What do you like of the Cup?
Cup's terrific race, isn't it? You can make a case for a few of them, but look, there's a caveat on it. If Luca jumps cleanly, I think it'll win.
Yep.
That's the caveat. Inexperienced horse. It has stuffed it up once before. Got away since, I think, in trials. Otis was incredibly good first up the other day, and didn't have any luck whatsoever. And that was the Shell Patch race, as a matter of fact, where Shell Patch tried to outmuscle it. Otis just got done on the line. I think on that run of his, with a bit more racing luck, he got no racing, got badly checked early, Otis. Dylan was aggressive and moved around, got the lead after getting checked, and it's got run down on the line. So I'll probably be playing those two, mainly Luca and Otis, and again, depending on price, of course, but Otis will be a reasonable price, no doubt about that, off the 10 metres. Luca's, if that jumps and leads, I can't see them beating it. So I'll be playing the market there. The other class horse, of course, Watching Our Coin. It's off 30. That's a tremendously difficult task. Early leader, maybe. Cheddar is better. Tumblin' Dice, maybe. But I think Tumblin' Dice be inclined to sit. Led the other day of the short trip and got run down by Cheddar is better. So I think in that scenario, over 2,560 metres, if Shannon get there early enough, he may force the issue there and get the lead. Luca or Otis Present, I'd be handing over to one of them.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tip up Luca. He began well in those first couple of stands he had. It was just the last one that didn't go so well, and then he went back to trials, passed with flying colours. So
maybe out wide too be okay, perhaps.
Yeah.
But the price would be interesting if there's any. They may risk him drawn out there and standing start and all that type of thing. So I'll be playing the market there, but they're the two I'd want to be on.
Tab Touch actually have a market up.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have done this in the years past. So I just thought I'd have a quick look. And
Yeah,
they do.
good.
So we'll have a look at that. Grafton Electric's Northern Pacing Cup listed. 8:08 start time on Saturday. Number 1, Patricia's 61. 2, Tumblin' Dice 41. 3, He's Royal Blue 91. 4, Burley Shard 20. 5, Cheddar is Better 15. 6, Luca 350. That's the front line. First Emergency Rock Artist $6. Yankee Lincoln 91. Otis 380. Feeling Aces 18. Extraordinary Mary 10. Cooper 15, that's the 10 metre line. Forgotten Highways, the second emergency off 30. And Watching Our Coins, he's off 20, Forgotten Highway at 61. And Watching Our Coins off 30, and he's $4. But Forgotten Highway in all likelihood won't be there. So he's going to get a massive run up at them, Watching Our Coin. And he can make up that 30 metre handicap really fast because he pings.
He does. So it may not be as difficult as it looks, and he's got a bit of a journey there, but it is a hard track to get around to make up ground. If you've got Luca, for example, leading, good night, Nurse. I can't see getting beaten, and you can't make the handicap, but you've got to work too hard. If Luca didn't lead, everything changes. Otis is the other one. What price was Otis?
$3.80.
$3.80. So they're backable, those two. There's certainly no doubt about that. Otis may be a touch better in the price, but $3.80 seems about reasonable for me. I just got the feeling one of those two will win it.
The only moves so far, Luca $3.80 down to $3.30, and Watching Our Coin $3.80 out to $4. So that's the only action.
Yeah, that's a tremendously good race, and it could be a race where something from left field could win it too. What price do you say Cheddar is Better? That'll be the leader.
15.
Yeah, it'll be cheeky if it gets a quick lead. It could be cheeky if Luca gets left, for example. That horse is going pretty well and wouldn't shock me if it ran a race, if it got a quick lead. And $15, probably worth a punt if you thought it could get to the lead pretty quickly and dictate this race and run a race.
That's the Northern Cup. And the last one I wanted to look at Northern was Euston Flyer in the final event. He doesn't have a heap of gate speed, but I think he can do enough, and even if he doesn't do enough, I still think he'd win from leaders back in a race like this. So pretty confident Euston Flyer should be fit a third up, ready to go.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The horse that I thought was, when I first looked at Lightning Strike, that was a better run last start, Lightning Strike, so I'd keep a watch on it. There's no market for that one, is there?
No.
But yeah, on paper, logically, Shannon, not a brilliant beginner, Euston Flyer, but Lightning Strike used to get out pretty quick. I've got a little watch on Lightning Strike there, and I'll be playing the value there, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're finally split at the end.
Yeah, but I've liked one before that, Travel Ban.
Yeah, I did look at that.
Yeah, Montana Glory, clearly classy horse, but not 100% sure where it's at. So I've got that caveat on, and I'm going to lean to Travel Ban there. I think it's, if it can get the rail there, I don't think Montana could sit outside it. And Travel Band's probably got the gate speed to hold it, I would think. That's a little query, but I'm going to probably have something on Travel Band race 6, number 2 there.
Francesco in that race will go better once he gets to a bigger track, I reckon, like a Bunbury or something like
Interesting runner.
Pinjarra Monday as well. That gets underway at 12:43. Only one I wanted to have a look at there was Ideal in Gold. He's in top form, this horse, at the moment, and he's
nice
a
horse.
likely winner again.
Yeah, nice horse. What race is that? I just want to have a quick look, get that up on the screen.
Race 7.
Race 7, Pinjarra Monday. All right.
Rock Artist is in there along with...
he's an emergency for the Northern Cup, isn't he? Yeah, they didn't quite... They had to get to a certain level to... But he's a level 7. I think it was a level 8 requirement from memory, preference there. But, yeah, look, Chris Folk would have played a part in that Northern Cup if he got the front line. So I'd respect it, but definitely respect it. But Ideal and Gold going really well. But, yeah, if Rock Artist led, I'd be a little bit worried about chasing it down.
Race 6 at Gloucester Park on Mondays, one I want to Tuesdays, one I want to have a look at as well. That gets underway at 4:17, that meeting. Goodfellas on the quick backup. Should win again.
Yeah, right. Didn't know that.
No, he's in the last 5 less than 12. So
is he really? Yeah.
Win tomorrow, win again Tuesday.
Yeah, well, that's right. Like I just think that Goodfellas just hasn't had a proper preparation. So he's had a couple of good runs in fast class, etc. And the toughish run last week, obviously, they got a bit keen last week too. They made a gear change, I see there, so they might be able to sort that out tomorrow night. So, yeah, look, he'd be winning again. Interesting Vegas strip going around in
it's
race
the other
8
one I was going to talk about.
Yeah, very, very classy horse. Obviously be really short. But Bondi's got a few back I see in trials. Had a few of his runners going around, I think. And Franco Ecuador, that was great to see Franco Ecuador back for Prentice and Robert Watson trial against Penny Tiger. Penny Tiger sat up in the trial, ran 155.3, home in 26.1. It sat up, Penny Tiger, and swooped around and got the lead. Franco Ecuador was the early leader, sat behind the leader, got out and was looked after by Mitch Miller and chased it home but didn't knock it around. Clearly Penny Tiger had the break on it, but that would do the world of good to Franco Ecuador, we hope. In its comeback, it's been 2 years since it raced. It ran second or third, I think, in the 2020 Derby to Petronas Star that far back, 2020. And last start winner 2022.
Yeah, it has to be third. The Petronas Star Derby was Major Martini got touched off.
That's right. That was the one. Yeah, exactly. Petronas was a very newcomer, I think, to the state at that point. Might have won at Bunbury and then went in the Derby barrier 10.
He was back on the pegs.
Yeah, got out and swooped and grabbed Junior on the line.
I went to Bunbury with Junior the day after that.
Yep.
And it was a pretty
sombre trip.
Solemn trip.
The one I got away, I suppose, but certainly Petronas Star's gone on with it, hasn't it, since then. A runner-up in the Fremantle Cup 2 Minstrel from memory.
Yep.
But yeah, that was, and there's a couple of 2-year-olds went around just while we're at it. Captain Sterling went around, Captain Crunch, Dylan Edgerton and Green. That was impressive to win that trial from Lake Picciola, I think it was. They were both impressive 2-year-olds that went around and ran really good time. Very impressed with them. And the Stella Deliciosa was another one that trialled 158 from memory. Stella Deliciosa, another one that's going to be an early 2-year-old winner. So Captain Sterling, really impressive. Picciola and Lake Picciola and Stella Deliciosa. Their horses to follow, Diamonds Are Forever, ran second in that trial too, went okay. So, yeah, a couple of nice 2-year-olds showing up, so we'll keep an eye on them.
Yeah, really looking forward to those 2-year-olds coming through. My favourite part of racing, to be frank, is watching those 2-year-olds come through. Yeah,
I enjoy it too.
Trying to get an angle.
For sure.
All right, that does us for another week, Glenn.
Thanks
for coming along.
The boys are definitely back next week, I've heard.
Okay.
This is not a rumour. This has happened. It's not the next rumour. It's not rumour has it. Not 3 rumours. It's actually happening next week. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. No, it's been a pleasure.
No worries. All right, that does us for another week. Hope you've enjoyed. Catch you next week on Talking Trots.